Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is holding well above the previous breakout point, and we continue to hold the 2023 high basically. Yesterday Bitcoin made a new high and broke above this 61.8 FIB extension level, which we talked about before at $38,270. Primary scenario was for the price to go a little higher. Primary scenario is still for it to go a little higher, possibly towards 41 to 42k. Above that level, there is only really the 43k level left for this particular scenario on the daily chart that we've talked about. We've talked about here this wave 1, this wave 2, and then possibly another 1-2 setup, and then a third wave next. This wave 2 ideally starts before we break above 43k. The reason for that is that if it doesn't, then this move up looks too long and it would rather emphasize a more corrective structure. How would a corrective structure look like in detail? Well, I think obviously because this would be a B wave, I mean the white wave count, which is the direct bullish one, which would take us to 125k in this pathway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, round about 76k in the larger third wave, then a fourth wave, then a fifth wave. This will be a decent pullback, and this will be the last main pullback here, this larger degree fourth wave, before we go to 100, 125k, and this will be huge, and this will be very, very frustrating for many of you and for me as well. It will be a very, very frustrating pullback. But then after that fourth wave here, we should head to 100, 125k. To be honest, I need to set this wave 5 a little lower. But anyway, the point I try to make is these wave 4s that are going to be along the way, they are going to be extremely, extremely boring. Anyway, we're not even there yet. First of all, Bitcoin needs to do this wave 2 pullback. Does it need it? No. I mean, technically speaking, it can push straight away. Okay, so again, we can only really focus on the present. I'm just saying, what would be ideal, and it would be a wave 2 pullback. Can Bitcoin go straight away to 50k? Yeah, I mean, the trend is up, okay? The trend is up, and as long as the trend is up, it can go higher. Therefore, we are observing very, very closely the micro support levels. Only if they start to break, we can assume that, we are starting a deeper pullback. Now, it really depends on where that pullback starts. If it starts in this region between 38,270 to 43k, I would strongly assume it's the wave 2, because it's just due, and we have 5 nice waves up in a wave 1. And it would be the ideal area where such a wave 2 starts. Now, I know a lot of people are waiting for such a pullback. I can only tell you, it is typically when a pullback is due, don't expect it until the first micro support level breaks. This typically causes a lot of frustration when cryptos just keep going, and they can do. Okay, we know that. Okay, hopefully everybody's learned that along the way. Just waiting for a pullback means, you have to be patient. Sometimes it just doesn't show. And welcome to trading. Okay, that's just sometimes we just have to focus on what we see right now, and the trend is still up. But we can be very cautious. So it's not like we should be fearful, and be afraid of such a pullback. It's not that we should sit there and just wait for it and hope it will occur, and then watch from the sidelines as a third wave is unfolding. That's also not what we should do. We can just watch the actual trend, which is currently still up, and then as soon as the first micro support levels are breaking, and we get these from the smaller time frames, that's when we can say, okay, probably this wave 2 pullback has started. Otherwise, the risk is that you just get very, very frustrated. It often happens when people say, okay, but a pullback was supposed to happen. I mean, nothing is supposed to happen in these markets. Bitcoin is just following the current trend, and we always need to wait for the signal that the market gives us. The analysis just gives us levels to watch barriers basically. And it tells us if certain levels get broken, that other scenarios get more likely. So ideally, we want to get that pullback. But if Bitcoin pushes above 43K in this wave 1, then yeah, the white count will not get invalid. It's just that this wave 1 gets a little bit too long to be reliable, because typically in crypto, it's the third wave which extends, not the first wave. So therefore, we then have to be on the lookout for something different. And this absolutely has third wave. Well, this would have third wave character or something different if we break above 43K. So what I want to emphasize is there is the bearish scenario as well, which would indicate here an ABC structure is unfolding in the B wave, or at least a corrective rally. And that would indicate that if we get above 43K, it will increase the probability for this more bearish count, and we could then see a much deeper pullback afterwards. It will not invalidate the white count, but it will shift probabilities towards the yellow one, which would be basically, if we talk about it in detail, here an A wave, a B wave, and then the C wave to the upside. That would be the yellow count. Let me just change here the color. So A wave, B wave, and then we would we can actually count this as a 1, as a 2, as a 3, as a 4, as a 5 in wave C. Change the wave count as well. Just to give you an idea of the bearish count, or it's not necessarily bearish, but certainly corrective. So, and that would just mean that we're dealing here with possibly another wave 4 and another wave 5 before we finish this move. So the pullback also in a wave 4 could be quite deep and also would be due at some point, but that yellow count and subdivision will get more likely if we get above 43K. And in this wave count, if we talk about a target for that yellow third wave, the next one would be 41K, okay? 40,980 that I would be watching, but we'll see. Just want to give you some ideas about what the yellow count would look like in detail. And then the question is, okay, is this a B wave and will form an impulse down in a C wave and break down? Or is it just a larger A wave? We get a B wave pullback, which will be deeper, won't be a wave 2. It's just going to be much more difficult, right? So ideally, just, you know, from a very selfish point of view, to keep it clear, I like to get that pullback before we break above 43K. Looking at the microstructure, not much happened since yesterday. So you know that area here, this is our target area. It was really only reached yesterday, 39,550, basically as a minimum target for this white C wave to the upside of wave 5 of 1. To be honest, I don't have enough data, price data, to work with anything here on the smaller time frame. So I would like to operate on this time frame. This could be a lot of different stuff, so I don't even want to try to count it. But there are two wave counts, basically still the yellow one, which is the ending diagonal, which ideally in this third wave pushes to 39,550, which it has done. So at some point a wave 4 pullback will occur in the yellow count, and then another wave 5 to the upside. So it should take us to 41K plus. Also in the white wave count, I'd like to see the price go a little higher, ideally to 41K plus, because that's here the 1-to-1 ratio, or let's call it 40.9K. And that would be the ideal target for such a C wave here. After the B wave did unfold as a triangle, remember A, B, C, D, E, and then we got that break to the upside. Ideally it pushes a little higher. If a pullback shows from here, it could technically go all the way down to 37,120. As long as this level is holding, I would still watch for another high. Below that level, I would start to assume that a deeper pullback has started. Yeah, not much more to add, so I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, if you're interested in the membership, today at 5 p.m. UTC, We have our next member live stream. If you join at the as member, then you can join that today as well. In addition to that, you get access to Discord and Telegram as silver and gold members. And as a gold member, you get additional short-term market updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.